The revenge she never saw coming. Part 1, Shattered Trust. The perfect life crumbles. Maya Chin stood in the center of the grand ballroom at the Riverside Hotel, surrounded by white roses and twinkling fairy lights. Everything was perfect. She had spent 3 months planning this engagement party down to the smallest detail. The champagne tower sparkled under the chandeliers. The string quartet played softly in the corner. 200 guests mingled, laughing and celebrating. This was supposed to be the happiest night of her life. She smoothed down her emerald green dress, the one Marcus had said made her eyes shine like jewels. Her fiancé was somewhere in the crowd, probably charming the investors he had insisted on inviting. Maya didn't mind. As a wedding planner, she understood the importance of networking. She had built her own successful business, Enchanted Moments, from the ground up. She knew what it took to make dreams come true. Her best friend since college, Jennifer Park, appeared at her side with 2 glasses of champagne. To the future Mrs. Maya Thornton, Jennifer said with a bright smile, her red lips curving perfectly. Maya clinked her glass against Jennifer's, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. She had everything. A thriving business, a gorgeous fiancé, and a best friend who had been with her through every struggle. "I can't believe this is really happening," Maya said, taking a sip. 5 years with Marcus, and now we're finally doing this. "You deserve it, babe," Jennifer replied, squeezing her arm. "You've worked so hard for everything. Marcus is lucky to have you." Maya glanced around the room, searching for her fiancé's familiar face. Marcus Thornton was handsome in that polished, corporate way. Sharp suits, perfect hair, confident smile. He worked in commercial real estate and came from old money. When they first met at a charity gala, Maya had been intimidated by his world. But Marcus had pursued her relentlessly, telling her that her independence and drive made her different from everyone else he knew. "Have you seen Marcus?" Maya asked, checking her phone. "He was supposed to give a toast 10 minutes ago." Jennifer's smile flickered for just a second. "Oh, I think he went to take a business call. You know how he is." Maya nodded, but something felt off. Jennifer wouldn't quite meet her eyes. The humiliation. 20 minutes later, Maya decided to find Marcus herself. She walked through the ballroom, accepting congratulations and hugs from guests. Her feet were starting to hurt in her heels, but she kept smiling. "That's what you did at your own party. You smiled until your cheeks ached." She checked the hotel lobby, the bar area, even the men's restroom hallway. Nothing. Then she remembered the private event rooms upstairs. Sometimes Marcus liked quiet spaces when he needed to focus on important calls. She took the elevator to the 3rd floor, her heart beating a little faster. Something felt wrong. She couldn't explain it, but her instincts were screaming. The hallway was empty and quiet. She walked slowly, her heels clicking on the marble floor. Then she heard it. A laugh. A woman's laugh, coming from the magnolia room at the end of the hall. The door was slightly open, a sliver of light spilling into the darkened corridor. Maya's hand trembled as she pushed the door open wider. The scene before her shattered into 1,000 pieces, like a mirror falling in slow motion. Marcus had his arms around Jennifer. They were kissing, passionate and desperate, like they had done this 1,000 times before. Jennifer's fingers were tangled in his hair. His hand was on her waist, pulling her closer. Maya's champagne glass slipped from her fingers and crashed to the floor. The sound echoed like thunder. Marcus and Jennifer jumped apart, their faces frozen in shock. For a long moment, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. "Maya," Marcus started, his face going pale. "How long?" Maya's voice came out as a whisper, but it cut through the air like a blade. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. Real tears or fake ones, Maya couldn't tell anymore. "Maya, please, let me explain." "How long?" Maya repeated, her voice stronger now, shaking with fury. Marcus ran a hand through his hair, that same gesture she had found charming for 5 years. Now it made her sick. 6 months, he said quietly. It just happened. 6 months. Half a year. While Maya had been planning their wedding, choosing flowers, tasting cakes, dreaming about their future, he had been with her best friend. While Jennifer had helped her pick out wedding dresses, had thrown her a bridal shower, had listened to her talk about how much she loved Marcus, she had been betraying her. Maya felt like she couldn't breathe. The room was spinning. She turned and ran, not caring about her heels, not caring about the party downstairs, not caring about anything except getting away from the two people who had just destroyed her entire world. She burst back into the ballroom, and her face must have shown everything because the music stopped. Conversations died mid-sentence. 200 pairs of eyes turned to look at her. Marcus came running after her, Jennifer close behind. Maya, wait, please. Maya spun around, and something inside her broke completely. You want to know what happened, she said loudly, her voice carrying across the silent room. My fiancé has been sleeping with my best friend for 6 months. So I guess the engagement party is over. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Phones came out. People started whispering. Maya saw the pity in their eyes, the shock, the hunger for drama. This would be all over social media within the hour. Her humiliation would be public and permanent. She grabbed her purse from the gift table and walked out of the ballroom with her head held high, even though she was dying inside. Behind her, chaos erupted. Voices shouting, questions being asked, the sound of her perfect life falling apart. The stranger's offer. Maya made it to the hotel parking garage before she broke down completely. She leaned against a concrete pillar and sobbed, mascara running down her face, her body shaking with the force of her tears. Everything was gone. Her relationship, her friendship, her dignity. By tomorrow, every client would have heard about this. Her business would suffer. Her reputation would be in tatters. Rough night? Maya looked up, startled. A man stood a few feet away, leaning against a sleek black car. He was tall, probably in his early 30s, with dark hair and sharp features. He wore an expensive suit that fit him perfectly. His eyes were gray, like storm clouds, and they watched her with an expression she couldn't quite read. Go away, Maya said, wiping at her tears. I'm not in the mood for whatever you're selling. I'm not selling anything, the man said calmly. I'm Ethan Cross. I was at your party. Maya stared at him. She didn't recognize him, but then again, Marcus had invited dozens of people she'd never met. Well, congratulations. You got a front row seat to my public humiliation. I hope you enjoyed the show. Ethan pushed off from his car and walked closer. He pulled a handkerchief from his pocket and offered it to her. Maya hesitated, then took it, dabbing at her eyes. It was soft, probably cost more than her entire outfit. I didn't enjoy it, Ethan said quietly. I've been where you are. Different circumstances, but the same feeling. Like your whole world just ended. There was something in his voice that made Maya believe him. She looked at him more carefully. He was handsome, but not in the polished, fake way Marcus was. Ethan looked like someone who had been through fire and survived. Why are you here? Maya asked tiredly. I have a proposition for you, Ethan said. I need someone to attend business events with me over the next 3 months. Someone smart, elegant, and capable of holding a conversation. In return, I'll help you rebuild your reputation and make your ex-fiancé regret every choice he's ever made. Maya let out a bitter laugh. What is this, a romance novel? The billionaire swoops in to save the damsel in distress? I'm not saving you, Ethan said firmly. I'm offering a business arrangement. I get a partner who won't expect anything real from me, and you get revenge. Plus a very generous payment for your time. Why would you need to pay someone to be your date? Maya asked suspiciously. You don't exactly seem like someone who has trouble finding company. Ethan's jaw tightened. Let's just say I have my reasons. My company, Crosstech Industries, is in the middle of several major deals. Investors like stability. They want to see me settled, focused, not the reckless playboy the media made me out to be after my divorce. Maya's eyes widened. You're that Ethan Cross? The tech billionaire whose wife left him for his business partner? The same one, Ethan said, his voice flat. So you see, we're both rebuilding from betrayal. The difference is, I learned that the best revenge isn't anger. It's success. Show them you don't need them. Show them you're better off without them. Maya looked down at the handkerchief in her hands, now stained with mascara. Her mind was racing. This was insane. She didn't know this man. But then again, she had thought she knew Marcus and Jennifer, and look how that had turned out. What exactly would this arrangement involve, she asked carefully. Public appearances. Business dinners. A few charity galas. We'd need to be convincing, but nothing physical unless you're comfortable with it. Hand-holding, maybe a kiss on the cheek for the cameras. We sign a contract. Everything clear and professional. And the payment? $50,000. Plus a complete wardrobe, access to my stylist, and I'll personally introduce you to every high-profile client in the city who might need a wedding planner. Maya's breath caught. $50,000 would cover her rent for a year and give her business the cushion it desperately needed. The client connections alone would be invaluable. Accepting the deal. Why me? Maya asked. You could hire any professional for this. Ethan smiled slightly, the first real expression she'd seen on his face. Because when you walked out of that ballroom, you didn't fall apart. You were broken, but you were strong. That's the kind of person I need beside me. Someone real. Maya thought about Marcus, probably still upstairs trying to explain away his betrayal. She thought about Jennifer's fake tears. She thought about all those people with their phones out, recording her humiliation. Something hardened inside her chest, like coal turning to diamond under pressure. Okay, Maya said. I'll do it. But I have conditions. Name them. First, we sign a non-disclosure agreement. What happens in this arrangement stays between us. Second, you don't lie to me. Ever. I've had enough of liars. And third, if at any point this stops working for either of us, we can walk away. No hard feelings. Ethan extended his hand. Deal. My lawyer will have the contracts ready by Monday. Can you meet me at my office? Maya shook his hand. His grip was firm, warm, and somehow reassuring. I'll be there. Good. And Maya? Ethan said as he turned toward his car. Tomorrow, when the photos hit social media, hold your head high. You did nothing wrong. Remember that. He got into his car and drove away, leaving Maya standing alone in the parking garage. She looked down at the handkerchief still clutched in her hand. It had a small embroidered EC in the corner. Elegant and simple. Maya took a deep breath. Maybe this was crazy. Maybe she was making a huge mistake. But for the first time since walking into that room and seeing her world explode, she felt something other than pain. She felt like she might survive this after all. First impressions. Monday morning arrived too quickly. Maya stood outside the Crosstech Industries building, a gleaming tower of glass and steel in the heart of the financial district. She had spent the weekend ignoring calls from Marcus and Jennifer, deleting social media apps from her phone, and telling her assistant to handle all client inquiries. The story had spread exactly as she'd predicted. Wedding planner's own engagement ends in betrayal, read one headline. Love triangle at high society party, read another. Her mother had called 17 times. Maya had answered once, endured 20 minutes of I told you Marcus seemed too good to be true, and then politely asked for space. Now she was here, about to sign a contract to fake date a billionaire she barely knew. Her life had become a storyline even she wouldn't have believed. The lobby was impressive, all marble and modern art. Maya gave her name to the receptionist, who smiled knowingly and directed her to the top floor. The elevator ride felt like it took forever. Maya checked her reflection in the mirrored walls. She wore a navy blue dress, professional but elegant, with her hair pulled back in a low bun. She looked put together, even if she felt like she was held together with tape and determination. The elevator opened directly into a massive office. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the entire city. Ethan stood at his desk, reviewing papers. He looked up when she entered, and for a moment, they just studied each other in the morning light. "You came," he said, sounding almost surprised. "I said I would," Maya replied. "I keep my promises." Something flickered in Ethan's eyes. "Respect, maybe." "So did I, once upon a time." "Come in. My lawyer is waiting in the conference room." The next hour was a blur of legal language and signatures. The contract was detailed but fair. 3 months, public appearances as needed, payment structure, exit clauses. Maya read every word carefully, asking questions when she needed clarification. Ethan's lawyer, a sharp woman named Patricia, seemed impressed. When everything was signed, Patricia left them alone. Ethan poured 2 glasses of water from a crystal pitcher and handed one to Maya. "So," he said, sitting on the edge of his desk. "First appearance is Friday night. Technology Innovation Gala. Very high profile. Are you ready?" "I plan events for a living," Maya said with more confidence than she felt. "I think I can handle attending one." "This isn't just attending," Ethan said seriously. "The moment we walk in together, people will talk. Questions will be asked. Your ex will probably see photos. Can you handle that?" Maya thought about it. The truth was, she didn't know. But she was tired of being the victim in her own story. "Teach me," she said. "If we're going to do this, teach me how to be the kind of person who walks into that gala and makes everyone forget I was ever crying in a parking garage." Ethan studied her for a long moment, then smiled. It transformed his face, made him look younger, less guarded. "All right, Maya Chen. Let's turn you into someone your ex will never forget." Part 2, Playing with Fire. The transformation begins. Over the next 4 days, Maya's life changed completely. Ethan wasn't kidding about the transformation. Tuesday morning, a stylist named Ricardo appeared at her apartment with 3 racks of designer clothes, a makeup artist, and enough energy to power a small city. "Darling," Ricardo said, circling her like a designer shark, "you have excellent bone structure, but we're going to elevate everything. Ethan wants you to shine, not blend in." Maya spent 6 hours being measured, fitted, and styled. She tried on dresses that cost more than her monthly rent. She learned about power colors, strategic accessories, and the psychology of first impressions. Ricardo taught her how to walk in stilettos like she was born in them, how to hold a champagne glass to appear elegant but not delicate, how to command attention just by adjusting her posture. "Fashion is armor," Ricardo explained, pinning a stunning navy gown that hugged every curve. "When you look powerful, you feel powerful. And when you feel powerful, nobody can touch you." Wednesday, Ethan himself took over. He invited her to dinner at an exclusive restaurant, explaining it was practice for the gala. Maya arrived to find him waiting at a private table, looking devastating in a dark suit. "Rule 1," Ethan said as they sat down. "Never apologize for taking up space. You belong anywhere you choose to be." Throughout the dinner, he taught her the subtle art of high society navigation. How to redirect intrusive questions with grace. How to read a room and identify the key players. How to make small talk that was actually strategic networking. "You already know most of this," Ethan observed, watching her handle a hypothetical scenario about pushy investors. "You run your own business. You deal with demanding clients. This isn't that different." "It feels different," Maya admitted. "At work, I'm behind the scenes. I make other people's dreams happen. This, being the center of attention, it's terrifying." Ethan leaned forward, his gray eyes intense. Then don't think of it as being on display. Think of it as being in control. You're not performing for them. You're allowing them to see what you want them to see. Something about his words resonated deep in Maya's chest. She had spent 5 years molding herself into what Marcus wanted. The perfect supportive girlfriend. Not too successful to threaten his ego, but successful enough to be impressive. She had made herself smaller to fit into his world. No more. Tell me about your ex-wife, Maya said suddenly. If we're going to be partners, I should know your story. Ethan's expression shuddered immediately. For a moment, Maya thought he wouldn't answer. Then he sighed and sat back in his chair. Her name is Vanessa. We met in college, married young. I was building Crosstech, working insane hours. She said she understood, that she believed in my vision. Then 5 years later, I discovered she'd been having an affair with my business partner, Daniel, for 2 years. They took company secrets and used them to start a competing firm. Nearly destroyed everything I'd built. How did you survive it? Maya asked quietly. Barely, Ethan said honestly. I threw myself into work, made some bad choices, earned that playboy reputation. Dated people I didn't care about, pushed away people I did. Learned that emotional distance is safer than vulnerability. That sounds lonely. It is, Ethan admitted. But it's also safe. Nobody can betray you if you never let them in. Maya recognized that philosophy because she was already building the same walls. Is that why you chose me? Because I'm safe? A business transaction instead of a real person? Ethan's eyes met hers, and there was something raw in them. I chose you because I saw someone who understands that trust is earned, not given. And because when you're ready to be vulnerable again, you'll do it with eyes wide open. The moment stretched between them, charged with understanding. They were both broken in the same way, both trying to figure out how to protect themselves while still moving forward. Friday, Maya said, changing the subject before the intensity became too much. Tell me exactly what to expect. Jealousy takes root. Friday arrived with nervous butterflies in Maya's stomach. Ricardo had delivered the final outfit that morning, a stunning floor-length gown in deep ruby red. It had a high neckline but an open back, elegant and sophisticated with just a hint of drama. Maya's hair was styled in loose waves over one shoulder, her makeup dramatic but not overdone. When she looked in the mirror, she barely recognized herself. She looked powerful, confident, beautiful in a way that had nothing to do with seeking approval. She looked like someone who had walked through fire and emerged stronger. Ethan picked her up precisely at 7. His reaction when she opened the door made everything worth it. He actually stopped mid-sentence, his eyes widening slightly. You look. He started, then seemed to lose his words. Ready to make an entrance? Maya finished with a small smile. Absolutely devastating, Ethan said softly. He offered his arm. Shall we? The gala was held at the Museum of Modern Art, the grand entrance lit with dramatic lighting. Luxury cars pulled up one after another, releasing glamorous couples in designer outfits. Photographers lined the red carpet, flashes going off like lightning. Maya's heart pounded as their car pulled up. Remember, Ethan said quietly, squeezing her hand. You belong here. You're brilliant, successful, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. They stepped out of the car, and the flashes intensified. Maya could hear the whispered questions. Who is she? Is that Ethan Cross? When did this happen? Ethan's hand settled on the small of her back, warm through the open design of her dress. They walked the carpet slowly, stopping for photos. Maya smiled naturally, channeling every ounce of confidence she'd practiced. Ethan leaned in at one point, whispering something that looked intimate but was actually, "You're doing amazing. Breathe." Inside, the gala was spectacular. The museum's galleries had been transformed into an elegant wonderland. Tech industry leaders mingled with society elite, champagne flowing freely. Ethan introduced Maya to a steady stream of important people, and she found herself falling into the rhythm. Asking intelligent questions, making memorable impressions, being charming without being fake. "You're a natural," Ethan murmured during a quiet moment at the bar. "Half the men here are already asking about you." "Good," Maya said, sipping her champagne. "Let them wonder." That's when she saw him. Marcus, standing near the main gallery entrance, looking uncomfortable in his tuxedo. He wasn't alone. Jennifer stood beside him, her face tight with obvious tension. They clearly weren't together, but Marcus had brought her anyway. Maya felt a surge of satisfaction. Their affair, once exposed, had become a scandal neither could escape. Marcus's eyes found Maya across the room, and his jaw literally dropped. He stared at her, then at Ethan, then back at her, his expression cycling through shock, confusion, and something that looked painfully like regret. Ethan followed her gaze. "That's him?" "That's him," Maya confirmed, her voice steady. "Want to leave?" Maya considered it, then straightened her shoulders. "No. I want to dance." Unexpected feelings. The music shifted to something slow and elegant. Ethan led Maya to the dance floor without a word, his hand finding hers, his other hand resting on her waist. They moved together smoothly, and Maya was surprised by how natural it felt. "You're really good at this," she said, looking up at him. "Years of boring society events," Ethan replied. "You pick things up." From the corner of her eye, Maya could see Marcus watching them. But for the first time, she didn't care. She wasn't performing for him. She was simply here, in this moment, with someone who saw her as an equal partner rather than a trophy or a convenience. "Thank you," Maya said suddenly. Ethan raised an eyebrow. "For what?" "For reminding me that I'm more than what happened to me. For the past 3 days, I've felt like myself again. Maybe even a better version of myself." Something shifted in Ethan's expression. His hand tightened slightly on her waist, drawing her a fraction closer. "You did that yourself, Maya. I just gave you an excuse to remember who you are." The music swelled around them, and Maya realized that somewhere in the past few days, this had stopped feeling like a business arrangement. The way Ethan looked at her, the way her heart raced when he smiled, the easy conversation that flowed between them, none of that was in the contract. The dance ended, but they stood there for a moment longer, neither quite ready to break the connection. Then someone cleared their throat nearby, and reality came crashing back. Marcus stood a few feet away, his face a mixture of emotions Maya couldn't quite read. "Maya, can we talk?" "There's nothing to talk about," Maya said calmly. "Please," Marcus said, his voice dropping. "I made a terrible mistake. I see that now. Seeing you tonight, seeing you look so. I realize what I threw away." Ethan's hand moved to Maya's lower back, a subtle but clear gesture of support. Maya appreciated it, but she didn't need it. She could handle this herself. "You didn't make a mistake, Marcus," Maya said clearly. "You made a choice. For 6 months, you chose to lie to me every single day. You chose to sleep with my best friend while I planned our wedding. You chose to humiliate me in front of everyone we know. Those weren't mistakes. Those were deliberate actions." "I know, and I'm sorry." "I don't care," Maya interrupted, and she realized with stunning clarity that she meant it. "I don't care about your apology. I don't care about your regrets. I care about moving forward with my life, and you're not part of that anymore." She turned to Ethan. "I'd like to leave now." Ethan nodded, taking her hand. They walked past Marcus without another word, past Jennifer who stood crying near the entrance, past all the watching eyes and whispered speculation. They didn't rush. They walked out like they owned the place. In the car, Maya finally let out the breath she'd been holding. That felt incredible. Ethan smiled, genuine pride on his face. "You were magnificent." The business gala. The next few weeks blurred together in a whirlwind of appearances. Maya accompanied Ethan to investor meetings, charity brunches, and exclusive dinners. Each time, she grew more confident, more comfortable in this world. The media ate it up. Ethan Cross's mysterious new partner became a trending topic. Photos of them together appeared in society columns and business magazines. Maya's phone exploded with new client inquiries. Suddenly, everyone wanted the wedding planner who was dating Ethan Cross. Her schedule filled up months in advance. Her business, which had been teetering on the edge after the scandal, was thriving. But something else was happening too. Something neither of them had planned for. The touches lingered longer than necessary. The smiles became genuine instead of performed. Conversations that started as small talk deepened into real connection. Ethan told her about his childhood, growing up with parents who valued business success over emotional health. Maya shared stories about building her company from nothing, about the loneliness of being so focused on making other people's dreams come true that she forgot to have dreams of her own. One evening, after a particularly successful product launch event, they sat in Ethan's penthouse, both exhausted but exhilarated. Maya had kicked off her heels and was curled up on his ridiculously comfortable couch, a glass of wine in her hand. "I got offered a feature in Wedding Elegance magazine," Maya said. "Full spread about my business, my design philosophy, everything." "That's incredible," Ethan said, genuinely happy for her. "You deserve it." "None of this would have happened without you," Maya said softly. "Yes, it would have," Ethan corrected. "Maybe not on this timeline, but you're talented, Maya. The world was always going to recognize that. I just sped up the process." Maya looked at him, really looked at him. Somewhere along the way, Ethan had stopped being the mysterious billionaire and had become simply Ethan. The man who remembered she preferred her coffee with oat milk. Who texted her random thoughts in the middle of the day. Who looked at her like she was the most interesting person in any room. "Ethan," Maya said carefully, "what are we doing?" He knew what she meant. She could see it in the way his expression changed, became more guarded. "We have a contract. An arrangement." "That's not what I asked." Ethan set down his glass and turned to face her fully. "What do you want me to say, Maya? That this stopped being pretend for me weeks ago? That I look forward to seeing you more than anything else in my day? That I catch myself thinking about you when you're not here?" Maya's breath caught. "Ethan. But I also know," he continued, his voice dropping, "that you're still healing. That you just got out of a relationship where someone made you question your worth. The last thing I want is to be another person who takes advantage of your vulnerability." Maya stood up and walked over to him. She took his face in her hands, making him look at her. "I'm not vulnerable. I'm choosing. There's a difference." "Maya," Ethan said, his voice rough with emotion. "I know this wasn't the plan," Maya said. "I know we're supposed to be fake dating for business reasons. But somewhere between the galas and the dinners and the late-night conversations, this became real for me too." Secrets revealed. Ethan pulled her closer, his forehead resting against hers. "We have one more month on the contract. Let's finish what we started, and then we can figure out what this is without any business complications." It was responsible, mature, the right thing to do. Maya hated it, but she agreed. The next week brought an event that would change everything. Crosstech was hosting a major investor meeting, and Ethan needed Maya there. But this time it was different. One of the key investors was Daniel Reeves, Ethan's former business partner, the man who had stolen his wife and his company's secrets. "Are you sure you want me there?" Maya asked when Ethan told her. "I need you there," Ethan said firmly. "Daniel is trying to block our new AI initiative. If he succeeds, it will set Crosstech back years. I need to show him that his betrayal didn't destroy me." The meeting was held in a private conference room at an exclusive club. Maya arrived early with Ethan, helping him review his presentation. She'd spent days researching the AI project, understanding the technology and the market potential. She wasn't just arm candy anymore, she was a genuine partner. When Daniel walked in, Maya understood immediately why Ethan had been so devastated. Daniel was charismatic, smooth, the kind of person who made you want to trust him. He was also clearly surprised to see Maya. "Ethan," Daniel said with a practiced smile. "I didn't realize you'd be bringing entertainment to a business meeting." "This is Maya Chen," Ethan said coldly. "She's here as my partner. Both business and personal." The meeting was tense. Daniel tried multiple times to undermine Ethan's presentation, to raise doubts about the technology. But Maya, drawing on all her experience handling difficult clients and high-pressure situations, stepped in smoothly every time, redirecting conversations and highlighting strengths. At one point, Daniel turned to her directly. "Tell me, Ms. Chen, how did you and Ethan meet? I'm curious about the story." "We met when I needed a reminder that betrayal doesn't define you," Maya said calmly. "Ethan showed me that the best response to people who try to destroy you is to build something even better." The room went silent. Daniel's smile tightened. After the meeting, which ended with the investors approving the AI initiative, Ethan pulled Maya aside. "You were incredible in there." "I just told the truth," Maya said. "No," Ethan said, his eyes intense. "You understood exactly what that meeting was about. You saw through Daniel immediately. You knew how to handle him." "I've had practice spotting liars," Maya said with a sad smile. Ethan cupped her face gently. "I need to tell you something. The reason I really needed you at that meeting, the reason I needed Daniel to see us together. It wasn't just about business success," Maya finished. "It was about showing him you found something better. Someone better." "Vanessa called me last week," Ethan admitted. "She wanted to reconcile. Said she made a mistake leaving me. But I realized I didn't care anymore. I didn't care because every time I looked at her, all I could see was how she wasn't you." Maya's heart hammered in her chest. "Ethan, our contract." "Screw the contract," Ethan said roughly. "I don't want a fake relationship with you, Maya. I want the real thing. The messy, complicated, terrifying real thing. I want morning coffee and late-night conversations and arguments about nothing and making up afterward. I want you." Before Maya could respond, her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and froze. It was a text from an unknown number, but the message was clear: "Saw you at the meeting today. Interesting how Ethan's new girlfriend looks just like his ex-wife. Same hair, same build, same style. Makes you wonder if you're a person to him or just a replacement. V." Maya's hand shook as she showed Ethan the message. His face went dark with fury. "That's not true," he said immediately. "Maya, you're nothing like Vanessa." "You're..." "Am I?" Maya asked, her voice small. Suddenly all her insecurities came flooding back. "Am I really, or am I just convenient? Another businesswoman who fits into your world? Someone who understands the game?" "You're someone I'm falling in love with," Ethan said desperately. "That has nothing to do with Vanessa or anyone else." But the seed of doubt had been planted. Maya pulled away, her mind racing. "I need to think. I need some space." She grabbed her bag and left, leaving Ethan standing alone in the hallway, looking like she'd just ripped his heart out. Part 3, Love's Ultimate Revenge. The confrontation. Maya didn't answer Ethan's calls for 3 days. She threw herself into work, meeting with clients, designing ceremonies, doing anything to avoid thinking about the mess her life had become. But late at night, alone in her apartment, Vanessa's words echoed in her mind. Had she become just a replacement? Was this whole thing just Ethan's way of proving he could move on? And more importantly, why did it hurt so much when this was supposed to be fake from the beginning? On the 4th day, Marcus showed up at her office.